So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Planets Through Ascendant series of the week. And today we're going to be covering Moon in the sixth house in the sign of Aries for your Scorpio Ascendant chart. And what happens when Moon is in the sixth house in Aries as a Scorpio Ascendant, where Moon rules the ninth house with the sign of Cancer, but also has a co-rulership in the sign of Taurus, especially if your moon is above the 10th degree in any sign. Otherwise, it is going to be with Cancer. Okay. So we're going to discuss this. And as always, if you do not know, if you have this particular placement, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, all the other astrological details, including to know your Bija and Kesha Saputa, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, consultations, and link to my academy, Magha Vedic Astrology Academy, where I'm currently teaching planets through nakshatras. So let's start with this particular placement. So, with Moon in the sixth house of your birth chart, first of all, it shows me that father is an enemy from past life. And you're going to have some debt to pay to the father. Even though you may have a good relationship, that doesn't matter because sometimes those enemy relationships stay very silent. And sometimes they are on the surface by looking at the significance of the sun. Again, looking at your D12 chart, we can see how this relationship is going to pan out into the world. Is the father really going to hate you and you're really going to hate your father? Or is it going to be a silent debt where, let's say your father gets sick, you have to get rid of your job, you have to move somewhere, and that becomes like a debt, like a burden, like I have to take care of my father. I have to take care of this. And you don't realize that it is a debt you're paying from past life, because what this shows is that you borrowed money from the father or took something from the father of promise to paying it back, and you never did. And you never did purposely, not because you took it and you just suddenly died and you couldn't pay that off. No, you just purposely didn't do it. That's what creates that karma. This also shows that your Bhagyodaya will happen in a faraway place, faraway land. And specifically, the Bhagyodaya will start from the 30th year, but really at 33rd year, it will rise unless you go to foreign lands, and then it starts right from the 30th year. Because you got to understand, ninth lord is in the sixth house. The Bhagya goes into the house of obstacles. And ninth house represents, besides father, gurus, teachers, higher knowledge, foreign places, foreign lands, distant lands. So this is why it shows when you go to distant land, you activate your ninth house. And another thing, it's not just going to the foreign lands. Take a pilgrimage, and especially take a pilgrimage. And this is specifically for Indians, so I do not know if you're from a different culture, ethnic background, what other things that I can mention, because again, I have not dealt with those. But if you go to a temple of Narsimha, Hanuman, or Yama temple, Bhagyodaya occurs. Why? Because of the fact the sign of Aries is controlled by Mars. Mars is a representation of Narsimha. And in the heart of the sign of Aries lies Yama. And Hanuman is the south direction. And Mars controls this sign, along with Yama. Both Mars and Yama are south direction. So go to Hanuman temple, take a pilgrimage to some Hanuman temple, and you will see how obstacles start to go away. And one of the things that I see with these people, I don't care what career you have, if you're not in a competitive space, you will not feel right. Your ability to rise in life will only happen when you go into a competitive space, whether it's competitive exams, dealing with enemies, dealing with business competition, dealing with work competition. If I was to give you a job where you have the monopoly because of your talent, let's say you're the only computer programmer in the world, and everybody's like, oh my God, how does this person know this? Who is this person? We want their service, and you're like, wow, I can actually make $1 million an hour just because I'm the only one who knows how to do programming. But what happens is then your success rate goes down because you're no longer motivated. You're like, I don't care for this work. I don't want to do this work. Not because you're not getting the competition, it's because you don't realize that you need competition to excel. You won't even say that I need competition in order for me to work. It's just that you need another person. Like Bill Gates needing Steve Jobs. And then they start working. Oh, you're developing this? Watch this, I'm going to do this. You stole my software? Now watch, I'm going to create something else. So this is how such people will operate. And one thing I see that especially if you have this particular moon, and Mars and Mercury are both somehow in mutual aspect or conjunction, you will be an athlete. And I'm not saying this because I'm studying some chart of some athlete. This is actually real life charts that I've done of people who are 15, 16, 18, 21, whose parents have gotten readings from me, like tennis player, cricket player. I even had somebody, I forgot what it's called. It's not field hockey. It's like a stick with a net on the end. I don't know what you call it. You do it in the US and there's professional teams for that, and somebody wanted to go for that. So I've seen this, especially with Scorpio ascendant, that their heart and soul lies with competition. And one of the other things we also see is that a large organization will screw you over. Some organization will screw you over, and also you will have major karma to pay with the elder sibling. There will be a major fight and disagreement with the elder sibling with this particular position. And of course, one deals with constant injuries, health issues, and cuts, burns, bruises in their life. But one thing you will see, it's actually kind of like an omen. Whenever some health issue happens, suddenly a transformation will happen for the better within 8 days of you getting sick. Within 8 days, some things will change and suddenly things will start changing. And if you have gone through this, please do write in the comments so I can also add that for my research. But don't just put it, and don't put like a fake comment like it happened to me, because you got to understand, it's really for educational purpose. Some people like to put fake comments saying they hate me or they love me. That's fine, but in research purposes, you can really damage somebody's observation with this, So if you have seen this and exactly what I'm saying, when father gets sick, your thing happens. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this actually. When father gets sick, your career rises. When father gets sick, the obstacle in higher education gets resolved. Otherwise, one thing I see, that father may become an obstacle towards higher education. So this is not like some bad or good, analysis or judgment on you or, your father. It's astrology. It is what it is. Like, for example, this is for everybody. When the mother dies, you suddenly get gains in life. When father dies, you either get a vehicle or property. It's one of those situations. It's one of those alignments. And one thing you see, that this person has a hardcore regime about their life. They put themselves in a position of putting down the law, laying down the law on themselves. Laying down policies on themselves that I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. If I don't, I'm going to do this to myself. Meaning, if I don't wake up on time, I'm going to run 2 miles extra every time I wake up late. So, like, for example, if you look at Magic Johnson, he's like 64, 65 now. And he wakes up at 4 a.m. in the morning and he goes running, works out, plays basketball in the gym. Then he starts his work as an entrepreneur. And he has done this every single morning, literally since the day he has retired. I'm not saying he has this position because I don't think his time of birth is available, but, I still have to check his chart. I don't know if he has an Aries moon. Only if he has an Aries moon, then there could be a thing with that. But regardless, even if you're a lawyer, you could be a doctor, you're going to have certain regime that you are going to be the judge and the jury for yourself. And this is why it's a strong placement for a competitive individual. Somebody who'll do whatever it takes to win. Okay. So anyway, guys, this was my analysis of Moon in the 6th house for Aries ascendant or Scorpio ascendant people. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. If you want to know where your Moon is placed, all the other astrological details, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.